Hello, Don Dorsher here again for another episode of Xcom Enemy Within. We're going to be reloading here, this game that we just started. It occurred to me that I talked about everybody getting a class last time toward the end, but I didn't actually talk about what the classes do. So, I'm going to go through and kind of talk about those before I go start shooting aliens. So, the best of my soldiers, who it occurred to me is the only one of those soldiers who was male, so apparently my game is sexist, is a support. Supports are kind of, you can have them built as kind of a healer mode, so they're better with the med kits. They can restore more health, they can use med kits more often, that sort of thing. By default they get an ability called Smoke Grenade, which you throw once per mission and everything inside the smoke cloud gets plus 20 defense, which I thought was kind of counterintuitive, because you would think Smoke Grenade would reduce the aim of the people caught in the smoke. You'd think you'd use that offensively to get smoke in the eyes of the people you're throwing the grenade at, but in reality you use it to provide cover for your own soldiers. So that's very important, because, you know, I got several people killed right out of the gate because I just didn't understand how the power worked. So, and then as you advance, you get things like the ability to use your medkits more often, the ability for your medkits to heal more. Some of the other things that supports get are things like suppressive fire, so you can use up extra ammo to just hail bullets on an enemy in cover, and it doesn't actually hit the enemy, but it gives them a penalty to shoot. And it removes, if they were on Overwatch, it takes them out of Overwatch so they don't get a reaction shot while they're suppressed. And if they move from the square, then you get a free reaction shot on them as though they had moved and you were in Overwatch. So that's pretty sweet. I don't really like supports, to be perfectly honest. Well, of course, the best of my soldiers is a support. I don't use them all that heavily because the assault rifle is garbage. It is hugely crap. It is a bare step up from pistols, and in fact, snipers who get some abilities you can train them in to make their pistols more badass end up having better pistols than the assault rifle is. So take that for what it's worth. The point to an assault is to get really close to people and then shoot them in the face with a shotgun. Shotguns do really good damage, but they get a huge penalty for range if you're farther than just a few tiles away. The advantage to that is that they also get a huge bonus to hit the closer you get. So if you can actually get right up close and personal with something, you have a really good chance to hit. They also have a pretty reasonable chance to crit. Another special ability that they get to start with is called Run and Gun, which you activate before you do anything with them, or after a single move or whatever, and it allows you to either shoot or go into Overwatch after dashing or making a second move on the turn that you activate Run and Gun. And that can be really good because it can get you right up next to an enemy and still get a shot in. The downside is you can't use inventory items, so I couldn't run up really close and then throw a grenade or anything, so it makes them less reliant on their inventory and more effective with just their gun. You have the option of equipping assaults with an assault rifle or instead of a shotgun. There are advantages to that, especially when you get the first tier of rifles, so the laser rifle and the plasma rifle, and before you've gotten the shotgun equivalent, then usually the rifle is going to be the best bet. And honestly, with a certain build of assault, you're better off with the rifle anyway. We refer to them as riflemen. Heavies no longer have a pistol, and instead they get a rocket launcher, which rules. The rocket launcher has a 90% chance of actually shooting the rocket where you tell it to, and a 10% chance of the rocket going astray, which can really cause problems if it misses off by, you know, like 30 degrees or whatever and ends up hitting a piece of cover you were shooting around and blowing up and killing yourself. Rockets deal 6 damage, and other than that they work just like grenades. They have a lot longer range, and they're not guaranteed damage, but 90% is so close that under most circumstances I will use a rocket the same way I would a grenade to make sure that I've got a kill so that I can afford to take a few risks with other soldiers. Because 90%, regardless of what cover or anything that the enemy does, is generally pretty good. Them not having a pistol means they can run out of ammo pretty easily, and their aim is just atrocious. But what do you do? And then lastly, our snipers, who are some of the most ridiculously powerful guys in the game. Snipers, the sniper rifle has the best chance to crit of any weapon, a base 25% chance to crit. It does 1 more damage than the weapon equivalent of its tier, so it does, the base sniper rifle does 1 more damage than the assault rifle. It does 1 more, the laser sniper rifle does 1 more damage than the regular laser rifle, etc., etc. All of the specialty weapons do, but this is the only one that really doesn't have a lot of downsides. The light machine gun, which is what the heavies use, the downside is that heavies have terrible aim, and shotguns change rapidly on how effective they are based on your distance from the enemy. The sniper rifle actually gets a penalty if you shoot from too close. It never actually gets a bonus from being a long ways away, but it doesn't take range penalties. As long as you can still see them and they're still in your firing range, you don't take any range penalties for shooting at them, which makes snipers really, really, really good. They're a little more squishy. They don't get health as often when they level up. Their ability is called Headshot, which causes you to get an extra 30% chance to crit on your next attack, which is really, really good, because that pushes you up to a 55% base chance, and that doesn't count. I mean, if you're flanking, that's pretty much a guaranteed crit. And it causes you to deal extra damage with critical hits, so that bonus damage from a crit goes up. Using Headshot and shooting at someone that you've exposed with a grenade or a rocket or something like that is one of the best ways to take down a big enemy with a lot of health quickly and easily. It takes 2 turns for it to cool down, but this is a really good one. Snipers also get the best aim of any class. The snipers get +10 at their first level, and then they alternate back and forth between 3 and 4, and occasionally they get 5, and then they get 10 again at their final level. Heavies get 2 at their first level, and then get 0, 1, or 2 at various different levels, and they end up gaining a grand total of something like 10 or 15% to their total chance to hit. And support and assault both get 5 at the first level, and then they alternate between 2 and 3. Assaults tend to get 3s more often, and supports get 2 more often. So assaults end up with a slightly higher chance to hit, but not enough for it to really make a difference. And if you're using shotguns, you're barely going to notice your soldier's aim stat, and instead you're just going to see whether you're standing right on top of them or not. So, that is the different soldiers. I generally like to color code the soldiers, as I had mentioned in the previous video. So white is for the support soldier. I generally go red for the assault soldiers. I really don't think I'm going to use her, though. At the very least, I'm going to see if I have better options. As far as heavies go, she's mediocre. I guess I'll just see where I go. She's only out for 1 more day. That's actually pretty good. Her aim is pretty good, and her will is alright. So, again, I guess I'm just going to hold out and see what my options are. I don't have a whole lot of really good soldiers. So, hopefully I don't end up just having to hire a bunch. I talked about there being 2 very specific paths at the beginning of the game. The first path is the satellite blitz, which I've mentioned. Getting as many satellites up as possible. You're aiming for 5 in the first month, and doing that requires some very specific things to happen. One of them is that you have to build a second satellite uplink, which you see right here requires 10 engineers, which I've only got 5, and I'll get 4 more from this alien abduction mission I'm doing. It takes 100 credits, takes 5 power. This takes 14 days, so I need to get this started, have my engineers together, and get started on the satellite uplink by the 17th of the month. I can guarantee I get these engineers by building a workshop, which gives you 5 engineers, which requires that you have 6. I'll be getting at least 1 more off of this alien abduction mission, so I can guarantee I do that by building a workshop, which I guess I would have to put here. I could do an excavation now, but I think I might be a little bit past that. I would have had to do that before I started scanning at all. An excavation takes 5 days, 3 days. It's been a while since I played this game. It's funny, I can't even remember. But the workshop also takes time to build. So you have to make sure that you get the workshop building early enough. So in order to be able to do this, you have to get this mission, I think, by the 8th. So I think I'm in good shape to do the satellite blitz, and I'm going to go ahead and try that this time. The other approach is to go really, really heavy on science. And so instead of, on this abduction mission here, instead of taking the engineers and going to Nigeria, I would go to India and take the scientists, and that will accelerate the rate at which everything else develops. Again, almost cutting it in half, because it's the total number of scientists doing X number of man-hours of work, which can allow me to have laser rifles by the end of this month, which rules. The downside is then I also have to get lucky and get engineers to actually build the laser rifles, and that's a lot harder. So if you get your first abduction mission soon enough, it's always best to go for the satellite blitz if you can. So I'm going to Nigeria. When I get back from this mission, we'll go over the all of the panic consequences. Alright, let's take a look. I turned everybody blue who was halfway worth looking at, and I think I might only have one more anyway. If that. It's funny. So I guess it's not as sexist as I thought, because all of my good soldiers are female as well, so good times. I could give him a med kit instead of his grenade. I'd have to go back and build one. But the reason not to do that is that all a med kit does right now is restore 3 health, which that would basically mean someone gets shot, he restores health on them, and then they can get shot again without dying, assuming none of those shots are crits. That's not a very good assumption. I'd rather just risk their lives a little bit. It also makes the carrier immune to poison, but I will not be fighting thin men on this mission, I guarantee it. I will be fighting just sectoids. It said it's difficult, so I think that means there's going to be 3 packs, so there's going to be 8 or 9 of them. So, let's go ahead and launch this mission. Grenades are too good to just not use. And here I'm flying halfway around the world. Oh, look at that, my sniper just returned to duty right after everybody left for the mission.
Listen up. We're going to be dropping you deep in the Nigerian interior for the next operation. Alien activity continues to surge within several major cities. Our response is crucial to minimizing the spread of panic.
So there are a specific number of maps, and you eventually get used to looking at things and going, oh, I know how that map works. This map can either be really good or really bad, and it really depends on where the aliens are. Fortunately, there aren't any that have a lot easier maneuverability than I do at this point in the game.
Reading you 5 by 5. Strike 1 has the green light for deployment.
So I should be okay. So the first thing I usually do is just kind of scroll around and get a feel for where everything is. Because I played the crap out of this map before, I can tell you there's a little alleyway over here, and there's a truck that looks like it should mostly provide full cover, but mostly only provides half cover. And this ends here, and there's an alleyway back here. I can kind of see an alien pod, and I think there's meld over here. I can't really tell. Usually there's meld right over here, so. I used to think that it was kind of an unfair advantage that I know the maps compared to the aliens, and then I realized that there's no such thing as unfair against these aliens. You need every advantage you can get because they're bastards and they will just kill you. So I really need a plan of attack here. And I usually try to start with my soldiers that are in the back ranks first and do a sort of a leapfrog approach. The reason I do that is because if I get somebody too far ahead and they end up uncovering enemies, if the back soldiers can't move far enough to actually take shots, then they might as well not even be a part of the squad at that point, and I'm probably going to lose whoever I over-advanced with. So I'm usually going to try to do 2 squads of 2, but I'm going to keep them very close to each other while I've only got 4 soldiers. Once I upgrade the number of soldiers I can have available, you can upgrade it up to 6 soldiers total. I will probably break them up into 2 fire teams of 3. That usually is pretty safe. Even still, I like to have them at least close enough that they can respond within a turn. If I end up getting into a situation like I had before where I was dug in under full cover, the aliens were dug in under full cover, and we're just trading shots. So, Alexandra Vinogradova. That sounds pretty Russian. Oh yeah, I have the option set up so that if the game was available in the language that is native, that is spoken by the country the soldier is from, they will speak that language instead of English. It's kind of a cool idea. So you can move somebody through a door, in which case they'll just kick it open, but that makes noise. That doesn't actually matter, as far as I know. I used to think it did, and the tutorial seems to make it out like it does, and it does if you're playing multiplayer, but it doesn't mean crap. The aliens aren't going to come investigate if you kick a door down, and honestly, they kind of know where you are better than you know where they are anyway, so I'm going to advance to full cover here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have these 2 in the building, so they have ready access to this door, and then kind of move my way up here, check inside this room, and then move my way out into this alley. And then I'm going to have these guys swing around the end and come up this way in the alley. I feel like I'm probably going to end up seeing enemies here, so I'll probably end up cutting sideways with these guys, but I don't know that for sure. I don't really mind dashing with my first moves as long as I'm not revealing anything with that dash, because I don't really need to be in Overwatch. The aliens don't even know I'm here yet, so
understood. Moving out.
Reaction fire is not a thing that's going to happen. I will set her up there. And her right there. And right through the window, instead of just, you know, going this way. The pathing in this game often leaves a lot to be desired. But as I said, making noise is really a non-issue. Alright. So the meld's over here. That might change my approach a little. Anything that's really close to the starting, you have usually maybe like 3 or 4... Oh, actually, I think I can kind of make it out. You only have 3 or 4 turns to get it before it self-destructs.
Let's do this.
Yeah, let's go to this side. I'm still not one to look around this corner until I am certain.
Es hora de correr.
That I'm going to be able to shoot at people or take good cover or something.
Ну же, давай.
I'm not revealing any new tiles, so there's no chance of me uncovering an enemy. So at this point, what ended up happening is I just ended up wasting last turn. Alright. That's pretty crappy cover, but cover isn't really important right now. Let's go see what's over here. Oh, look! So there's only 2 of them. So that's good. Oh yeah, see, I've only got 2 turns to get to that. The really awesome thing here is, he's going to have to move to get into cover, there's no question.
He's trying to crawl up my flank.
Now, this becomes a really, really ugly fight if I open this door and there's aliens out here. So this is really risky, but this is, as I mentioned, I'm kind of a reckless player, so... Alright, now she can free move, get here, and get flanking shots on both these guys, and still claim this. So we're going to do that. Oh, man. That's hot to death. Before I start taking shots, I'm also going to see where each of these guys can go. This is a safe place, assuming this guy is for sure dead, and this guy is for sure dead. That makes that actually a safe place to be. She's pretty much guaranteed to hit. What is her... She's got 65 offense, which isn't great. That's standard, but she has really great will. At that close of a range, it's going to be very close to 100% though. And if worst come things happen, I can throw a grenade over here. So I've got that covered. So that means I am safe taking a shot here at this guy. And that's a 100% chance to hit and a 60% chance to crit, so goodbye. And it barely killed him. Awesome. And 100% chance to hit, and also goodbye.
Пора рисовать звездочки.
Alright, well this is starting out well.
Double time.
And now, I've kind of got this end of the map locked down, and the other meld is going to be farther in, and is therefore going to have 7 or 8 more turns left on it. So, actually I'm feeling pretty good about my chances right now. I got one group down. Oh look, here's another pair of guys. Okay, so that sucks. And he's up on the roof. Elevation gives you a significant boost to your chance to hit. It doesn't actually give you any defense. Snipers can get an ability that gives you defense when you are in an elevated position. 50%. 45 is not any good. 50%. Alright, none of those are actually good. He needs to take cover, because he will just die if he doesn't. Now that those guys are on Overwatch, actually, from here, she could probably throw a grenade up there.
Afirmativo.
I could have potentially uncovered some aliens over here, and it would have been a shitstorm, but I didn't, so we're good. Oh yeah, so she can totally kill him. I want to make sure that everybody here has good cover. She's going to move here. And either take a shot at this guy up here for 50% or hunker down. This gives her great cover against everybody over here, but this guy has to die this turn, but we already know he's going to, so that's good. She's already in great cover, so really I just have to find something useful to do with him. I could actually move him up onto the roof. Now let's come over here anyway, so we can go up on the roof later. Alright, taking a couple of shots at this guy on the roof here. Alright, nailed him. So that means a couple of Overwatch, 30% or 25%, is not good enough to take a shot off. But now he can't really move out, so he can take a crappy shot, or he can suck up some reaction fire. And die. I always wonder which one of them is going to get the kill for that. Oh, look, here's another pack. Oh, so they're all broken up into packs of 2. So that means there's going to be 4 groups of guys, because there's going to be 8 enemies. I'm going to right now take full cover just in case there's other dudes up here. And I don't want to be here and have them pop out, shoot him in the face, and him just up and die, because that's not good for anybody. Must remember he has smoke grenades, the only special ability I have right now. So this is great cover, this is great cover, but unfortunately I can't get to either of those great covers and still have a shot or an Overwatch, so I think she's just going to reload. And reload. And Overwatch. I would much rather take this the patient way here, so... It does give them first shot, which I don't like to do, but... Wow, really? Okay, well she didn't hit, but I didn't think she'd be able to see him from there anyway. Oh wow. That guy's taking a big move. I think they get extra move while they're mind linked as well. And... yeah. Firing into full cover, and hit, crit, dead. Welcome to Xcom.
Got it covered.
Okay. 45% chance to kill them both. Oh, so close. She's dead. And she is panicking. So it would take both grenades to kill this one guy. If I advance to here, I can't really take a shot. It says he's not in cover, but he obviously is. Yeah, he's definitely in cover. 45%, huh? Shitballs. Well, that's not good enough cover to be worth doing. Yeah, 25% is not a good shot here at killing. This is 53. Oh, okay, because this is a flanking shot. No, it's not. Guess it's just range and elevation giving me bonuses. Well, I'm going to take the 45 and see if I can kill them both. Alright, good. Well, that worked out well. So I lost this soldier, which blows, but that's XCOM for you. People die. It's a little too bad that it was one of my ones with really good aim. Oh yeah, I can see the little spinning top in here. Again, I don't know if it'll show up on the video, but this is where the meld is. So that's in through this door, or all the way around to this side. There should be 2 more packs of aliens, I would think, at 2 apiece, or there might be 1 pack of 3.
Поехали!
I'm going to now cautiously advance.
Rolling.
I don't want to uncover too much at once. Alright, so Rosa. Oh, wow, I didn't know you get an actual penalty to will when someone dies, too. That's awesome. Good job, Rosa. Way to suck. I guess it's bad for morale when people die. Who'd have thunk?
What was that sound?
That's the sound of people getting ready to kill you. That's what that sound is.
Affirmative.
They're almost certainly in here if they're coming. If the sound's coming from that direction. So I don't know if there's 2 packs or 1 pack or however many there are. I am most certainly not opening that door this turn.
Координаты получила.
That is a thing that is not happening. It kind of sucks that this fridge is in the way, because I would rather be on this side because that gives me a better field of view this way than being on this side of this door.
Ready to engage.
Again, what do you do? What you'd rather is... And I lost the meld anyway. So now I have all the time in the world. Of course.
Weapons hot.
Oh, they're out here on the street, huh? Well, that's not good for me. This is probably safe. He's not going to be able to advance to over here any place where he can get a decent flanking shot.
Выхожу.
But there might be another group over here, so I guess there's that. 45 is about all you can really expect.
Voy hacia ese lugar.
She'll, I guess, provide covering fire. So they can both see both, really? Wow. Alright, we're going to shoot at the closer one because he's the bigger threat. No, that didn't do anything.
Damn it, missed the target.
Also didn't do anything. Alright, good times. Ooh, and a mind link to the threatened guy. This could very well end up killing another guy. If it plays really aggressively, like sometimes, especially on Classic, they sometimes do. Alright, no, that's not terribly aggressive. One of the second wave options is called aiming angles, and it makes it so that the farther to one side of cover you are, the better chance to hit. That can be really fun. It can also really rock my world. Alright, how far can I get a grenade? Oh yeah, that's gonna... The wall's gonna be in the way. You can't actually throw a grenade through a window, sadly. I just don't have the arm strength, I guess. So I could blow up his cover. This is actually a really good piece of cover.
I'm all over.
So let's do it. Alright. Blowing up his cover gives... Let's see, so she has a 65%, and she has a 70%. So it means that it'll be actual 65 or 70% chance to hit this guy. If I blow up his cover with a grenade, that takes 3 of his health off, leaving him with 1, and then 2 pretty good shots to hit him.
Afirmativo.
Or, alternately, I can take 3 mediocre shots at this guy. Either way is kind of a gamble, I think. So I'd rather take 3 mediocre shots and not use up my grenades if I don't have to. It kind of sucks when the guy initiating the mind link is in the worst cover between the two. It's probably not a good idea. Man.
I'll get him next time.
Alright, come on, Rosa. Well, that sucked.
Maldición, he fallado el blanco.
And then here comes the mind link again. How aggressive are we? Reasonably. Not too. No, it's still not a really good shot at anybody. Although he's got a range bonus there. Yeah, that's ugly. I believe from there I could get a grenade to him.
Heading to that location.
Yep. So from here I can guarantee this kill.
Ясно.
There we go.
Этот выбыл.
Mission accomplished.
Alright. That was my 4th pack? I guess it was. Oops. So I didn't get all the meld. Though I don't think I actually blew anybody up, so I got a crap load of weapon fragments.
Commander to the Situation Room.
So that's good. So, Sunbok Kim is dead. He was a rookie, so rookies die. That's life. So now I got another heavy and another assault. Which is good, because those are actually both things that I really needed. So, 57 will and 70 aim. High will is great on an assault character, so. And high aim never sucks on a heavy. Though, as part of the storyline with the downloadable content, you get a pretty high aim, high will, unique character that's always a heavy. So, heavies are not really my favorite. You're going to get some. Medals are something you can award to soldiers and they just get specific bonuses. You only get a certain number of each. So I'm going to end up...
Commander to the Situation Room.
So I got the 4 engineers.
Situation Room.
Panic went up across Asia and Europe because those are the 2 continents that had countries I didn't go to, and then it decreased the Nigerian panic by 1 for doing this abduction mission.
We will be in touch, Commander.
Commander, you can now honor our soldiers by awarding them medals for accomplishments you deem appropriate. You can view and award medals in the barracks. Every member of the Council is going to want satellite coverage, so we should plan our deployments carefully.
So, this is basically the only way you can actually lose at the game. Each of these meters indicates how much panic is going on in the country due to the alien invasion. So,
I'm receiving you. We'll monitor that contact,
yeah,
but I don't think it's related to the UFO activity.
he's just a chatty little bitch. So, for example, every time there's an alien abduction, at least until you get pretty significant satellite coverage, there is 3 locations that there are abductions being made from. The one you go to will take 1 notch off of their panic. The one you don't, every country in that continent, their panic will go up by 1, and the country that
Boards are clear.
that the abduction was actually in, the panic will go up by 2. So for example, I had the option of going to India, or Nigeria, or I don't know, obviously it was someplace in Europe. So I didn't go to Europe, so whichever one it was probably only had 1 to start with. The higher your difficulty, the more extra points get started in various places. And so that one got 2, and everything else in the entire continent got 1. India obviously started with 2, so it got 2 and went up to 4. and everything else went up by 1.
Commander Straker has been all over the news ranting about shadow operatives.
So, if this is 5, at the end of a month, it'll be solid red, and that means that the country is panicking. If this is 5, there's a chance, and on Classic or higher, it pretty much means it's going to happen, that that country will pull out. For every country that pulls out, one of these fills in. All 8 get filled in, game is over. That's the only way the game actually ends. But, as you will probably see, when you start losing a lot of soldiers, and you start running out of money all the time, and you have a really hard time doing things, it eventually just sort of spirals downward, so you can't stop panic from rising. When you launch a satellite in a country, it automatically knocks 2 off of that country's panic. So if I was to launch one in India right now, it would bring it back down to 2. That is another reason to save all your satellites until right before the council update, because if a country is at full panic, it can't get more panicking. So if it just stays at 5, and then at the end of the month, you launch all your satellites, it knocks 2 off of the ones that are 5, they go down to 3 panic, they don't pull out of the project, and you're in good shape. So that's the reason to hold on to your satellites. So let's go to launch satellites so I can show you what everything is here. You start with 1 satellite wherever you said you wanted to start. This is United States, which is 180 per month, which is the most of anything. Russia's 150,
You tell
which is
the man
second.
we can't have them bringing back alien body parts as souvenirs. It's a breach of protocol.
Sometimes I wish he would just shut up, but he is pretty funny sometimes. So, with only 1 satellite in North America, you get 1 extra scientist at the end of every month as well. Once I put a second satellite in America, we'll get a scientist and an engineer, and then the 3rd satellite gives us 1 more scientist. I've already got this bonus. That 1 scientist is not worth a satellite, and Mexico is worth $50, as compared to this being more than 3 times that. Canada's worth 100,
We may need to run
which
a
is okay.
diagnostic. This doesn't look like a legitimate target.
South America is cool in that it has a great continent bonus, and for all that the money is garbage, there's only 2 satellites. So for 2 satellites, you get a scientist and an engineer and instant in autopsies and interrogations, which rocks. It takes 3 to cover Africa. Apparently, you only care about Egypt, South Africa, and Nigeria. All the rest of the African countries can, just go fuck themselves, I guess. And then the United Kingdom's gets you 100 a month, Russia's 150, France is 80, Germany's 100. So there's a lot of money to be had here, but it's all scientists.
Things are relatively quiet.
And engineers are
I guess we
huge,
should enjoy it while it lasts.
which is supposed to be the real advantage here to Asia, but if I'm going to let countries go, it's almost always going to be from Asia, because both India and Australia suck funding-wise, and Japan and China are mediocre funding-wise. So, who gives a crap? And by the time this becomes useful, you have enough money that it's not that useful. So, 1 satellite uplink allows you to have up to 2 satellites in orbit, so that's why it's 1 out of 2. We don't actually have another satellite here.
The new engineers arrived this morning, Commander. We're always glad to have more help down.
Let's see, we have 9 engineers. So now, I'm going to end up building those, building some satellites. So, alright. If I can always build just 1 satellite. It takes 20 days. I'll still be able to launch it because I've got 1 satellite uplink that does that. If I build a second satellite uplink, but it's next to this first one, satellite uplink's adjacency bonus, each one gives you 2 satellites, but for every satellite uplink that's next to another satellite uplink, you get a bonus satellite. So having 2 next to each other here, this actually would get me 3 extra satellites for a total of 5, which is the goal. I also then need to build a workshop this month. Workshop plus satellite uplink is exactly going to cost me this 8 power I have, so then I'm going to have to build power generators in order to go anywhere on. I got super lucky in where the Steam is. Steam is randomly assigned, and Steam allows you to build a thermal reactor, which is way more powerful than a regular power reactor. It costs a little more, but it's so worth it. And if these are over here, like a lot of times you'll end up with it right under your satellite uplink, and yay, that's always awesome. Because you want your power generators to be adjacent to each other, because their adjacency bonus gets them to generate more power. So the more you can put in one dense little place, the more power you get, the more efficient it is. So steam power being right here is totally epic, because that means I can just put a power generator right here. I don't actually want to spend this money excavating this yet, though, because I'm not sure whether I'm going to have all the money I need to do everything. So the first thing I have to do, I have to build some satellites. And I'm going to need a workshop, so I might as well build this now. So that's going to cost me 130 credits, and that's the only thing that's an actual cost. The rest of this is just, you have to have this, which I guess the power is too. So this will bring me up to 25 power, and then the satellite uplink will cost 5 power to bring me exactly to 30. I want to make sure that I'm in the correct space here. Okay. It also increases the maintenance cost every month of my base, because it said, I think that increased it by 26, which means I'm going to get 26 less credits every month at the end for having more stuff. So that's just the price you pay. The amount of money you get varies with the number of satellites you have up, though. So if I can actually race and get the get 5 satellites in the air, and I'm covering 6 countries at usually pretty close to an average of about 100 credits per country, as you can see, I'm probably going to be fine. So the satellite uplink is going to cost me 100 credits. This isn't going to significantly change. The number of engineers you have doesn't change how much it costs to build facilities. So I'll need one more engineer before I can do that, but that's coming with the workshop when the workshop is done. You see how the workshop is going to take me 10 days to build, which means it's going to be the 16th when it gets done, and then it's going to take me 14 days to build the satellite uplink, so that'll be the 30th of March, so that'll be in time for the council report. I've got 25 days worth of work going into those, and 26 days to do it in. So I have to make sure that I have that set aside. The big thing here now, though, is that I've got 77 credits per satellite. If I want to buy 5 of those, that's going to be 385 credits. Obviously, I don't have 385 credits. So I not only have to have 385 credits plus the 100, so 485 credits. It's 100 for this other satellite uplink. There. So I need 485 total credits, which is 315 more credits than I have right now. And I have to have the lion's share of that by the 11th, which is 5 days from now. If I get a council mission between now and then, or a UFO shows up and I can shoot it down, then I'll have stuff to sell to meet that price. If I don't, then regardless of the fact that I'll have the facilities built and I'll be ready to do it, I still can't launch those satellites because I won't have any satellites to launch. So, I guess that's going to be the end for right now. Let me go really quick and color code some of my soldiers, so I don't forget about that. So I usually do the red and black for the assaults, and there's actually multiple color combinations. So if I'm going to do a crit heavy assault that's going to be packing a shotgun most of the time and doing all of the really super crit abilities that they learn, I'll usually make them red and yellow instead of red and black. But for right now, she's just going to stay this way. Rosa Vargas. Usually make these like construction orange and green. And snipers I make black, as you might expect. She's not a great sniper. She's mediocre. But what do you do? Alright, well, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of XCOM Enemy Within. I will see you again next time. Thanks.